obviously, to something like 1908, but there's a whole generation of Met fans ready to party now like it's 1986, and the general sense that you get is there's a fever. I mean, there's a real fever for this right now. The fans are feeling like it's getting close.
And it's hard not to when you get to this point. Both the Mets and Cubs in the National League Championship Series quite unexpectedly, and we talked last night at some length about the fact that really both organizations are probably a year or two ahead of schedule. But then you really have to embrace the year when it comes. You don't know it for sure until it's over. But for both the Mets and the Cubs, even though you look at the Mets pitching staff and these young Cubs bats, yeah, the future looks terrific. But so did it for the Mets 9 years ago. And so it did for the Cubs back in the early 2000s. You just don't know when you're going to get there again. And that's why both teams are so anxious to try to keep that foot on the pedal and perhaps seal the deal. Now, the first pitch coming up from Noah Syndergaard will be presented by Empire City Casino. Come play electronic blackjack and three-card poker now at Manhattan's closest casino, Empire City Casino. Game on. And Syndergaard will be rather closely scrutinized here because in the desperate Game 5 in Los Angeles on Thursday night, Syndergaard came out of the bullpen, but I think the best way to put it would be to preface that by saying he finally came out of the bullpen. He was warming up 3 separate times before he finally got into the game. So Syndergaard threw about 60 pitches just in the bullpen and then another 17 in the game. So fell a little short of 80 pitches delivered, and although it's not the same necessarily when you're just warming up for a call that might never come, it still expends some energy, and so Terry Collins wanted to make sure that Syndergaard would be okay and strong enough to pitch before he announced yesterday that he would start Game 2. Prior to Syndergaard's start in the division series against the Dodgers, he'd mentioned that he'd been a little sore and stiff from his previous outings and repeated that after the game against the Dodgers. Nothing at all to be alarmed about. Pitchers always feel a little stiff and sore, particularly at this time of year, especially when they're power pitchers, the likes of Syndergaard. And he said after that start against the Dodgers, took him a little longer to feel right. But as careful as Terry Collins was going to be, Syndergaard, before the announcement was made yesterday, said, "I feel great, and I'm good to go in Game 2. Now we see how it transpires. And again, the cautionary note, 45 degrees at game time. And so finding the grip on those touch and feel pitches, and for Syndergaard in particular, that means that great curveball could be a little bit of an issue. Daniel Murphy, the second baseman, in to have a quick chat with Syndergaard. The Mets once again wearing their alternate home blues, and maybe a little gamesmanship there, because we mentioned last night the Cubs like to wear their alternate blue jerseys on the road. But it's Syndergaard blue clad into the windup. First pitch to Dexter Fowler is swung on and missed. 0-1. A 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And remember, Noah came out pumping 100-mile-an-hour fastballs in that relief appearance against the Dodgers. Switch hitter batting left, the 0-1. Swung on and missed. Laid on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And so quickly 0-2 to Fowler, who went 0 for 4 in last night's game. Outfield straight away. Wright is off the line at third, and now time called as Fowler made his request to Tim Timmons, the home plate up, just as Syndergaard was ready to fire away. Now Syndergaard into the windup. The 0-2 pitch. Swinging a foul, going back into the seats to the left of home plate downstairs. Those 20 rows behind the dugout on the third base side. Dexter Fowler this postseason hitting .250 with a couple of home runs. Now Syndergaard staring into d'Arnaud. Here's the 0-2. Swinging another foul ball. That'll come straight back out of play upstairs. Mets fans, whether you're on the way to the ballpark, just driving around listening to the game, we want you to be with us for all the excitement, so don't text, don't call. Just drive. A reminder from the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission. Syndergaard ready. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball down and in, 1-2. Now that pitch not in the strike zone, but probably with an 0-2 count. That was designed to be out of the zone to produce a swing and a miss. But again, that'll be one pitch in particular that we'll keep a careful eye on tonight, given the tricky pitching conditions due to the weather. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Little bit low, a changeup. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's a 90-mile-an-hour changeup from Syndergaard, who's worked 7 1/3 all told in this postseason with 11 strikeouts. And now the 2-2 to Fowler. Swinging a hard hit grounder to second. Murphy down to when he bobbles it, recovers, throws to first in time, and Fowler is out. 1 away. So that'll bring up Kyle Schwarber, and we'll take a look at the Mets' defensive alignment, delivered to you by Seamless. Seamless, how New York eats. Duda at first, Murphy at second, Flores at short, Wright at third, Conforto, Cespedes, Granderson left to right of the outfield, and d'Arnaud catching Syndergaard. And talk about hard contact. Fowler made that on the ground ball to second. Schwarber makes it regularly. In this postseason, he is now homered in 3 straight games. And the first pitch to the left-hand batter, a breaking ball on the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1. So he gets the curve over. Schwarber, 8 out of 17 in the postseason with 4 homers and 6 runs batted in. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Tries to hold his swing at a sinker. He went around. They appealed to third. But according to Eric Cooper, it's strike 2. And it's 0-2 to Schwarber. Those 4 home runs tie him with Daniel Murphy and Colby Rasmus for the postseason lead at homers. And now the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Syndergaard back with a changeup and Schwarber out in front of it. So 2 up, 2 down. First strikeout for Syndergaard, and Chris Bryant will be the batter. The umpires lineup sponsored by Lincoln Technical Institute, always offering the best lineup of career choices. Get started today at lincolnedu.com. Tim Timmons has the plate. Crew chief Ted Barrett at first, Paul Emmel at second, Eric Cooper at third, Bill Miller on the left field line, Rob Drake on the right field line. And now Bryant, a right-handed hitter with enormous power. First pitch by Syndergaard. Fastball low, goes right through the legs of the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. It's ball 1. Bryant just 3 for 23 this postseason. Went 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Has 1 home run. Started the postseason 0 for his first 11, but this kid will probably be the rookie of the year in the National League. 1-0 pitch, curveball, a beauty. He gets it over for a called strike, 1-1. So that's encouraging early on that Syndergaard is able to throw that curve a couple of times now for strikes. Cespedes 1 step to the opposite side at center. 1-1 pitch. Fastball popped in the air down the right field line, slicing over towards foul ground and into the seats, out of play. So Syndergaard ahead 1-2 to Chris Bryant, an all-star in his rookie year who tied for the National League lead in runs batted in with 99. There's a lot of hullabaloo when they kept him in the minors for the first week and a half of the year for service time issues. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, a little bit low. So it's 2-2 to Bryant. Basically what the Cubs did was say, all right, we'll give up 10 days of the year to have you effectively for an extra year, meaning they've got him under control for 6 after this. Here's the 2-2 to Bryant. Fastball line to left. That's a base hit. Moving towards the line is Conforto to play it. Fires back into Murphy, and Chris Bryant with a 2-out single, and that'll bring up left-hand hitting Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo 0 for 2 last night, was also hit by a pitch by Matt Harvey. Rizzo during the regular season was hit 30 times, most of anyone in the major leagues. And he also hit 31 homers. So that's a different kind of 30-30 as opposed to the 30 homer, 30 steal combination. Last guy to go 30 homers, 30 times hit by a pitch, Don Baylor back in 1986 with the Red Sox. Throw to first, and diving back in is Bryant. Syndergaard's thrown 15 pitches here in this first inning. That's about where you want to be at any given inning on average. Like to hold him to about 15 an inning, and Syndergaard has a tendency to run the pitch count up. First pitch to Rizzo. Fastball outside, ball 1. The Cubs see a lot of pitches because they have drawn more walks than any team in the league. They see almost 4 pitches on average per plate appearance. So you would expect between Syndergaard and the Cubs that there'll be some lengthy at-bats tonight. And that won't help keep Syndergaard's pitch count down at all. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball in for a called strike at the knees. 97 miles an hour, and the count 1-1. Mets starters so far in the postseason, 4-2 with a 2.92 earned run average. And they have struck out 10 or more batters in 5 of the 6 games they've played. It's a Mets record for the postseason. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss at a changeup. He had him out in front. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Syndergaard selling it beautifully with that same arm speed that a hitter thinks is the fastball. So the crowd up, trying to keep warm, waving the orange towels. No score. Bryant at first, 2 out here in the first inning. 1-2 to Rizzo. Syndergaard sets now the pitch. Fastball a little bit low. And the count 2-2.
Rizzo walked 3 times against Syndergaard in that game back at Wrigley Field in May. The guy that really worked the count against Syndergaard every time.
That was Noah's major league debut. Went 5 1/3, gave up 6 hits and 3 runs, but first 5 were scoreless. So this is going to be his 20th pitch of the inning. That's a lot of work early on. He sets. 2-2, runner goes, swung on and missed strike 3, side retired. Got him with a 98 mile an hour fastball. Syndergaard strikes out 2, and the Cubs are done in the first. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Middle of the first, the Cubs nothing. The Mets coming up on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer. Jake Arrieta, who will make his 3rd start of the postseason, and this has been his breakthrough year of the big leagues. At age 29, Josh gave you all the numbers earlier. 22-6 for the season, 1.77 earned run average, which didn't even lead the league. And that was Zach Greinke at 1.66. But from August 4th through the end of the season, 11-0, 0.41 ERA. Pitching to Curtis Granderson, left-hand batter, and the first pitch fastball off the mitt of the catcher. Montero went inside and goes all the way to the backstop. That's 1 lively ball to start here in this bottom of the first inning. The change in Arrieta has been a pitch that he might call a slider or a cutter. It acts similarly. Here's the 1-0. Fastball down the middle, a called strike. And the count even, 1-1 to Curtis Granderson. But he's able to throw strikes in a manner this year that he never has before. The 1-1, that's an example on the outside corner there, a called strike, 1-2. That might have been that cutter, but it hit the outside edge. And it's a little on the off-speed side, so it's got the hitter a little confused. But that's what's made him a winner this year, that last pitch. Infield overshifted, the 1-2. That's a breaking ball low and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Granderson. Arrieta, we mentioned, Texan. Knows Homer Bailey, the Cincinnati Reds pitcher, since high school. They trained together during the offseason. 2-2 pitch. Fastball hit to the right side, past the diving Castro, and into right field, a base hit. Granderson turns first and holds on. He's got a leadoff single, and now Curtis Granderson has been aboard in all 6 postseason, 7 now postseason games that he's played. So a leadoff single, and it'll bring up David Wright. Now David is really struggling. He went 0 for 3 with a walk last night. He is 1 for 19 in the postseason. And after the game last night, he and Terry Collins chatted for about 20 minutes. And obviously, Terry's a little concerned that maybe David's back, or his condition really, the spinal stenosis, is at a point where, especially with the cold weather, it's affecting him. And I just wanted to make sure with David that he was okay. Right-hand batter, Arrieta delivers. Fastball missed low and away, ball 1. And David said, look, right now, and I'll paraphrase here what David said. He said, right now I know I stink, but I feel great. I feel fine. There's no physical issue. And they talked about maybe moving him down in the batting order a little bit. 1-0 the count. The pitch. Fastball up high, 2-0. When I say they, I mean the Mets staff. But they weren't able to come up with any better solution for hitting second certainly don't want to rock the boat with a guy on deck, Daniel Murphy, or anybody else for that matter. So they're just hoping that David's going to find his way out of this. It's ahead in the count, 2-0. Granderson at first, nobody out, no score, bottom of the first. Arrieta sets, now the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, 2-1.
Don't know that Arrieta's really got the feel of everything yet, evidenced by that first pitch back to the screen, Howie. He's the only player on the field not wearing long sleeves. And 45 at game time. But boy, the wind chill has got to be putting it in the upper 20s.
That's the Texan in him, to be sure. Granderson leading from first. He's going home after this game. He knows cold conditions. He's running the 2-1, lifted in the air to center. Back goes Fowler, still going, reaches out, can't get it. It one hops the wall, stays in play. Granderson around third. He comes home to score standing. On at second with a double and a run batted in is David Wright, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead. David just drove that ball with an authority we have not seen from him the entire postseason. So the Mets won, the Cubs nothing, and Wright is at second with nobody out. Third RBI of the postseason for David.
And it's against Jake Arrieta, who, remember, on the road is 11-0 with an ERA of 1 the last 14 times he's taken to the mound. So they've already got the 1. I mean, this is it. This is kind of par for the course to get 1 run off him. And the thing is, it's with nobody out and a runner at second in the first inning.
And now Daniel Murphy, who has suddenly become the darling of Flushing, will be the batter. What a night he had again last night. First pitch, swing and a miss, a fastball, 0-1. With that swing, looked like Murph wanted to park that one right where he did in the first inning against John Lester last night, right off the front of the Pepsi porch. He has hit in all 6 postseason games, 8 for 25, 4 homers, 6 runs batted in. The 0-1, that's lifted in the air deep down the right field line. It's hooking, it is foul, but he did make it into the Pepsi porch again. He actually got out in front. That pitch was a slider, and funny thing about it is you look at the swing, forget where the ball went. From looking at the swing, you thought, well, he might have spent a good deal of the power there because he was out in front, and yet he hit it into the Pepsi porch, albeit foul, by a good 15 feet. And the count 0-2 to a guy who doesn't strike out all that much. Right at second, nobody out. Crowd chanting, Murphy, Murphy. Arrieta deals, tries to hold a swing at a fastball away, and he did as they check at third. It's 1-2. As Eric Cooper said, no swing.
Remember, Murphy's already got homers off Greinke and Kershaw and Lester in a week. He almost just put Arrieta in the same book.
Fowler, the center fielder, who was just burned by Wright, is not all that deep against Murphy either. Again, the wind is blowing in from left, really straight in. The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, lifted in the air, deep to right, down the line, got a chance, might go. He did it! Home run! Unbelievable! Daniel Murphy does it again! He tucked it inside the foul pole down the right field line. A 2-run homer. The Mets are leading 3-0. Citi Field looks like it's going to come apart at the seams. Holy smokes! What's gotten into him?
Well, whatever it is, Met fans are hoping it stays put and that he does as well. We all thought this was his Met swan song. And whether he goes somewhere else or stays put, he's got the head float in the parade if there is one. That's 4 straight games with a home run in the postseason for Murphy. No Met has ever done that before.
3 Mets have batted. 3 Mets have scored. And here is Yoenis Cespedes. They're still chanting for Murphy. Cespedes takes a fastball outside for ball 1. And Murphy takes a curtain call. That's what the fans wanted. That's a trip back to 1986. We haven't seen many curtain calls here this year. The 1-0. Fastball for a called strike to Cespedes. It's 1-1. Cespedes, by the way, celebrating his birthday today. It is his 30th birthday as far as we know. And that's not to be a Weisenheimer or to be flippant. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Slider low outside, 2-1. The reason we frame it that way is because the players coming out of Cuba often have difficulty producing documents, the birth certificates, that legitimize the birthdays. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss at that cutter. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And what we've been told by baseball people is that it used to be that way with kids coming out of the Dominican Republic or Venezuela Venezuela. They have been able to do a much better job of getting proper documentation, but not as much with Cuba. So we think Cespedes is 30 today. 2-2 pitch, low and away, full count.
All I know right now, Howie, is it's pretty amazing that Cespedes was announced to this crowd and nobody cared. You know what I mean? He was the guy for the entire summer, and now all they wanted to do was see Murphy come out and wave at him while Cespedes was batting.
It's 1 for his last 14. The payoff pitch popped up. He was jammed right side of the infield into foul ground. The first baseman, Rizzo, fighting the wind, makes the catch, and he snow-coned it. I mean, really snow-coned it. Looked like 3/4 of the baseball was edging out of the web of his mitt, but he caught it on the dirt portion right near the Mets dugout, to the left of the dugout. He started out after that ball in fair territory. That's what that wind did. So Cespedes now 0 for his last 10, in addition to being 1 for 15. Fouls out to first. And here is Lucas Duda, and he's a little under the microscope here. 2 for 18 in the postseason with 11 strikeouts. So he sat last night against Leicester. 3 infielders on the right side. And the first pitch. Fastball on the inside corner. Strike 1 called. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by RE/MAX. RE/MAX agents are trained to help you find the perfect fit wherever you go or wherever you're heading, locally or globally. Go to RE/MAX.com now to find an agent for all the things that move you. Each office independently owned and operated. The 0-1. Curveball fouled straight down at home plate. 0-2. So Murphy's home run is tonight's Valentine Blast. Valentine IPA is America's original IPA. Try some today and taste a piece of craft beer history. 3-0 Mets. 1 out, nobody on, last of the first. Arrieta into the compact windup. The 0-2 pitch. Low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A changeup in the dirt.
It's been probably, 3 or 4 minutes, Howie, and this cold crowd is still buzzing about Murphy. It was basically become not the Carlos Beltran of 06, but the Carlos Beltran of 04. When he carried the Houston Astros, not all the way through, but close.
I thought that was Cespedes.
Yeah.
1-2 to Duda, breaking ball down and in, 2-2. I mean, they're both in the same boat when you think about it.
Yeah, well, that Murphy's basically just kind of stolen all that mojo. He siphoned it right off. A remarkable run. And again, it's not just that he's hitting home runs, it's who he's doing it against.
2-2 to Duda. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and Duda's problems continue. He went after a 94-mile-an-hour fastball away. So 2 out. Travis d'Arnaud coming up. Well, d'Arnaud hit a home run last night that required the attention of the medics. Not to another human being, but to the home run apple. As playfully, when that apple was on display during batting practice, which was only taken by the Mets on the field today, incidentally, the Cubs hit in the cage, there was a bandage on it. First pitch to d'Arnaud, taken down and away. A slider, 1 ball and no strikes. Travis 2 for 4 with that home run into the apple casing beyond the 408 mark in straightaway center last night. A 1-0. Fastball low, 2-0. From what we were able to ascertain, it was the second such home run hit at Citi Field by a Met anyway. Ryan Church did it in the first year this ballpark was open, 2009. 2-0 to d'Arnaud. Arrieta delivers and hits the outside corner with a fastball at 93. It's 2-1.
And again, this is new territory for Arrieta since Memorial Day, giving up 3 runs in a game in 1 inning. This doesn't happen.
This was his 28th pitch of the inning coming to d'Arnaud, and it's low outside, ball 3.
Young man might want to think about sleeves. I mean, seriously, it's 45 degrees, and I know he's a tough guy and all that. But he's not the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line in the Ice Bowl.
3-1 to d'Arnaud. Arrieta delivers. Swinging a foul back to the screen. He was on a fastball there at 93, and that runs the count full. Granderson started it with a single. Wright doubled over the head of Fowler to drive Granderson home. And Murphy hooked a breaking ball just inside the foul pole down the right field line for a 2-run homer. And it's 3-0 New York. 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch to d'Arnaud. In there, strike 3 called. He froze him with a fastball, and that retires the side. 3 runs, 3 hits. No errors, nobody left. At the end of 1, the Mets 3, the Cubs nothing. And here they are, having won last night's series opener, leading 3-0 going to the second, and Starlin Castro, a right-hand hitter in the batter's box. Syndergaard deals a fastball down the middle for a called strike, 0-1, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Castro 1 for 4 last night, batting .227 with a home run during this postseason. Castro now the Cubs' second baseman. The 0-1, breaking ball low outside, 1-1. A shortstop by trade. But Castro moved over to second. They inserted Anderson Russell into the everyday shortstop role, and he was fine. Then he got hurt. So now Baez is the shortstop. The 1-1. Fastball just off the outside corner. It's 2-1 to Castro, who in his second year in the big league had 207 hits, and that led the league. And they thought this guy was going to be a huge star to the point where they signed him to a long-term contract. He signed for 4 more years after this. The 2-1 pitch, swinging a pop foul, coming straight back out of play, 2-2. It's the longest tenured Cub. I heard his name a lot in trade conversation over the winter, particularly as it pertained to the Mets, who were looking for a shortstop, but these teams never did get together on a deal of that nature. So now Syndergaard with a count 2-2, and the crowd helping him out. Kicks and delivers. Swinging a pop foul, coming back into the seats on the second deck to the right of home plate. Nissan's an easier choice than ever with their most exciting and fuel-efficient lineup. Now get great offers across their full line. Shop at your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com. Syndergaard already 25 pitches thrown. He hasn't retired a batter in the second inning yet. That's a lot. 2-2 to Castro. The pitch. Breaking ball. Did he go around? They'll check it first. He did not. Castro holds up at the curve. And the count full now. Castro is just a red-hot hitter over the last third of the season. Now the highest batting average of anybody during the month of September in the major leagues. And now Syndergaard with a payoff pitch. Swinging a hard hit ground to third. Wright has it at his waist. Throws to first in time. Duda has to stretch to his right, but holds onto the bag and the ball, and that's the first out here in the second inning. And it'll bring up Chris Coghlan. Coghlan, left-hand hitter, playing right field tonight. He's played left field in his major league career, actually as a second baseman by trade. And he's played first base, second base, third base this year. He actually hit cleanup against the Mets earlier this year. Last time these teams got together before the postseason was in early July, and these teams looked a whole lot different. Coghlan was hitting cleanup. First pitch to him. Curve in for a called strike. The former Met Mike Baxter hit 5th. Chris Denorfi is 6th. Jonathan Herrera 7th. That was the last time they met during the regular season, and that was a day game after a night game. The 0-1, another curve. That's in for a called strike, 0-2. Mets had Eric Campbell hitting 6th. Johnny Manel 7th. Jacob deGrom was hitting 8th. He had a higher batting average than those other two.
That's a scorecard to clip and save.
You bet. The 0-2 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, well hit to right. Granderson back onto the track in front of the fence. He jumps, and he made the catch! Curtis Granderson might just have taken a home run away from Chris Coghlan. Sensational play by Granderson. 2 men away. We'll see when the replay is shown whether he actually got over that orange line or not. I think he did. I think he took a home run away from Coghlan. It is the sweet play of the game, brought to you by Domino Sugar, the real way to do sweet. Visit DominoSugar.com for recipes and coupons today. Crowd just saw the replay too, Josh.
It wasn't quite endy, but it was pretty close. The glove wasn't all the way up and flopping over, but the ball was over. Noah Syndergaard's eyes got huge when he saw what happened. Remember, Coughlin homered off Syndergaard back at Wrigley Field, and it took Granderson right there from preventing a take two here.
Here's Montero, another guy who hurts the Mets. Left-hand batter, swings and fouls one. A little roller back towards the screen. A change up, 0-1.
Pretty instructive, though, Howie. That wind is going to carry some baseballs tonight. And Coughlin, just looking at the replay of him, he had both hands on his batting helmet rounding first, looking like he had just seen a ghost.
Yeah, the ghost of Endy Chavez. The 0-1. Tries to hold a swing. He went around. The pitch was a change-up away, and the count 0-2. It's interesting. You look at the flags top the Pepsi porch. You can see, based on the way they're blowing, where a ball would really carry. It's the opposite on top of the left field stands, where it's blowing in. The 0-2. Change-up outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Welcome to October in Flushing. 3-0 Mets. 2 out. Nobody on here at the top of the second. 1-2 to Montero. Syndergaard delivers. In there, strike 3 called. Side retired. A 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Third strikeout for Syndergaard, and the Cubs are done in the second. Nothing across. Middle of the second. The Mets 3, the Cubs nothing. And that's been done already.
Coffee table book about... Oh, never mind. All right.
No Cal pizza. Here's Michael Conforto in to lead off against Jake Arrieta. Left-hand batter, first pitch, shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a fastball low, 1-0. Conforto did not start against the lefty John Lester last night. He's 1 for 7 in the postseason. That one hit, a home run off of Zach Greinke, his first at-bat. The 1-0 fastball in for a called strike, 1-1. He had his first major league home run in early August against the Marlins in Miami. Among many who texted him afterwards was the Cubs left fielder, Kyle Schwarber. The 1-1 curveball low, 2-1. They got to be buddies playing on a collegiate all-star team a few summers ago that upset Team Cuba. And they stayed in touch. Drafted the same year. Conforto a little lower in that round, that first round, than Schwarber was. The 2-1 fouled back to the screen, 2-2. But, you know, they really are kind of a matched set, if you will, because there's a lot of consternation in both front offices. Do we bring these kids straight up from Double-A? Are they ready? Are they going to be overmatched? Will it be a problem for them long term if they fail early? Well, they're here and they're thriving. 2-2 to Conforto. Infield overshift to the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Arrieta gets him with a changeup. And maybe now Arrieta settling in. He has retired 4 in a row, the last 3 by a strikeout. So 1 away. Wilmer Flores coming up. The most popular way to follow the Mets in the postseason is with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat now. First pitch to Flores, swung on and missed, 0-1. Fastball at 93. Wilmer 1 for 3 last night, hitting .308 during the postseason, which is 4 out of 13. He's 3 for 8 against Arrieta. And the 0-1. Line towards second, caught by Castro, 2 men away. Castro, the second baseman, Baez, the shortstop, both with those protective wool masks around the side of their faces, adjacent to their caps, trying to stay warm along with everybody else. And with 2 out, Noah Syndergaard will bat. Scoreboard update sponsored by your Tri-Honda dealers. Visit TriHondaDealers.com to check out their best deals today. American League Championship Series resumes tomorrow. Game 3 in Toronto. Johnny Cueto for the Royals. Marcus Stroman, the Long Islander, for the Blue Jays. First pitch to Syndergaard. Fastball inside and off the glove of Montero for ball 1. Royals leading 2-0. Syndergaard, a .209 hitter. And he has a home run this year against Sean O'Sullivan of the Phillies. The 1-0 swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a right-hand pitcher who bats left-handed. Mets 3, Cubs nothing. 2 out, nobody on. And the 1-1 pitch. Missed inside. Nope. Caught the inside corner. A late call from the home plate Tim Timmons. And it's 1-2 on Syndergaard, with Curtis Granderson waiting on deck. Now the 1-2 pitch. Curveball, a little bit low. It's 2-2. Outfield is straight away against Noah. Now Arrieta ready. The 2-2 pitch. Down and in with a fastball, full count. So if nothing else, Arrieta throwing a few extra pitches than he bargained for here with the Mets pitcher up. And Arrieta, not yet through this second inning, has already thrown 42 pitches.
Yeah, if you get Arrieta out after 5 or 6, that is a big-time victory.
So it'll be a payoff pitch to Syndergaard. Arrieta delivers. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Side retired. Got him with a sinker at 94. 4 strikeouts for Arrieta. The Mets go in order. And at the end of 2, it's the Mets 3, the Cubs nothing. Against Noah Syndergaard, Josh.
And a little weird science from Daniel Murphy all through this postseason so far. He has conjured up some pretty incredible things, including a 3-0 lead tonight. Noah Syndergaard against Baez here in the top of the 3rd. Baez has had a really strong postseason, taking low 1-0. 5 out of 8 with a home run, couple of steals, and pretty much a fill-in here with Addison Russell out. Arrieta, the pitcher, on deck. Syndergaard rocks to the motion. Here he comes. That one banged foul down the right side into the crowd. And it's 1-1. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Next time you need to send money, send it online at westernunion.com or with its mobile app. You can send money online quick as a click with westernunion.com. Ball and a strike from big Noah Syndergaard to Javier Baez, who tries to check a swing, got all tied up and couldn't do it on a fastball running in on him, 1-2. So the man who is nicknamed Thor, the Norse god of thunder, hoping he's related to the Norse god of warmth, whoever that is. Met fans could use that. 1-2 pitch, tipped foul. Ooh, he barely got a piece of a curveball, and that's that hook that was drawing raves back in spring training. Not always easy to get a feel for that pitch in this weather. Syndergaard, I don't think, has snapped off as many curves tonight as we'd normally have seen at this point. Maybe a function of the nippy weather. The 1-2, curve, swing and a miss, down he goes. Hammer of Thor for strikeout number 4. Already, that is 8 batters up, and half of them have gone down on strikes. Jack Arrieta now, another candidate. Remember yesterday, Howie, it was Harvey with 5 strikeouts, 1 through the order, and now certainly Syndergaard can match him right here. Arrieta has struck out all 4 times in the postseason so far. Right off the bag at third, the pitch bounced it to the plate, 1-0. Jake Arrieta against the Mets, pitching anyway, until tonight, had an ERA against the Mets in 4 starts of .98. 1-0 pitch is low, 2-0. Or, no, check that, a strike. Late registry by Mr. Timmons.
Yeah, not the first time he's done that.
All Tims have late strike calls. Tim McClelland went first. 1-1 pitch, will wait. There it is, a strike. It's 1-2. So Syndergaard trying to work as quickly as he can here in this chilly air. Arrieta deep in the box, right-hand batter, no batting gloves. Rocking the 1-2 pitch. He fouls it straight back. Syndergaard brings it at 97. Met fans, you can make the call to the bullpen. Replace that inefficient beast in your basement with an American-made Peerless Boiler. Go to PeerlessBoilers.com for more info and to find a dealer near you. Remember, Peerless builds America's best boilers. The kick, the 1-2, curve taken high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3 in the bottom of the first for the Mets. And that's all the scoring so far. Outfield straight up, the 2-2 pitch. Wave and a miss, down he goes. 5 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard. 9 up and 5 down because of the K. Top of the order now, Dexter Fowler. Syndergaard, we know, is a flamethrower to an elite degree. Only major league starter who can say that 60% of his pitches whistled in there at 95 plus. Hasn't been at 100 or 101 tonight as we saw him against the Dodgers, but it was also about 40 degrees warmer against the Dodgers. Pitch to Fowler. Off speed. That's taken outside 1-0. Syndergaard's strikeout to walks ratio this year was 5.5 to 1. Rookies are not supposed to be able to do that. 1-0 to Fowler. It's taken a little low. 2 balls, no strikes. This battery of Syndergaard and d'Arnaud is pretty much what the Mets got back from Toronto for R.A. Dickey. And he, by the way, is going to pitch against Chris Young in a couple days in that Blue Jays Royals series. How about that? 2-0 pitch. In there for a strike, 2-1.
That's amazing. Think of what else we've talked about with Colin McHugh pitching a final game of a playoff series and Justin Turner, a cleanup hitter for the Dodgers.
Guys who pass through in a rather pedestrian manner as Mets are hitting it big on the big screen now. 3-0 New York, thanks to who else? Mr. Murphy. 2-1 to Fowler. Checks his swing, takes a hard heater downstairs. 3-1, 98 miles an hour.
Noah's playing with a little fire here. You do not want to put Fowler on when you've got the power of Schwarber and Bryant and Rizzo behind him.
Yeah, remember, Schwarber's homered in 3 straight games. 3-1 delivery coming, taken, and it's down. It's ball 4. So, yeah, Fowler is on. And he scores runs because of who hits behind him. 102 runs scored, was 4th in the National League this year, and the most by a Cub since Brian McRae 19 years ago. McRae would end up being dealt over here to the Mets in 97. So now Schwarber, who in 1997 was, well, a very, very young person. Nursery school for Schwarber. 8 out of 18 now, though, all grown up, all strapping, all left-handed. And the pitch waved at and foul tipped at the plate, 0-1. That big curve from Syndergaard. Schwarber's getting a kick out of all the attention his home run ball from Game 4 of that division series is getting. That ball traveled 440, landed on top of that new video scoreboard at Wrigley out beyond the right field wall. And they're just leaving it there. They've now got it in plexiglass. 0-1 delivery from Syndergaard. A curve is popped in the air, foul out of play, third base side, 0-2. It's a 22-year-old catcher turned outfielder. Usually a pretty selective approach. Mine from watching his favorite player up close as a teenager. That's the Reds' Joey Votto. And we'll see if, like Votto, he can be a 2-strike hitter. Deep in the box, open stance. Infield shifts against him. The outfield deep. Fowler extends the lead, being held on by Duda. Now the pitch taken a little bit off the plate outside, 1-2.
And another example of hitting the target, but the catcher off the plate, and that's what fools the people in the stands.
Schwarber, 4 postseason home runs already. Murphy tonight has hit his 5th. Toss to first, and Fowler back. Fowler did steal 20 in the regular season, has a couple already in the postseason now, too.
It's an interesting sequence here. Started him off with a couple of curves, showed him the fastball out of the strike zone, pitching backwards to Schwarber.
He nailed the fastball last night. 460. 1-2 pitch, fastball taken. Strike 3 called on the inside, Black. Down goes Schwarber, and Syndergaard's out of the inning. Well, the superheroes with the cool nicknames are striking out a ton. The Dark Knight yesterday, Thor tonight. Anderson will lead off. He's already done something special tonight. We're in the bottom of the 3rd, 3-0 New York. A strike from Jake Arrieta at the knees. Granderson channeled his inner Endy. Endy Chavez went up and over the wall to rob Chris Coghlan. Right field, not left field. Now the pitch on the way. Granderson takes outside. One thing I loved about that Chavez catch, the advertising sign that he had to scale said the strength to be there. Yeah, that's about right. 1-1 pitch, hums outside, 2-1 the count. There was no advertising tonight where Granderson went up to make that catch up and over the wall and right. Granderson having a just tremendous postseason. 2-1 delivery comes. He checks his swing. He takes high, 3-1. Curtis now 9 for 22. He has driven in 7. He has walked 3 times. He was such a streaky hitter last year with the Mets. Here's a wind to 3-1. That's taken high. It's ball 4. Granderson is on again. His on-base percentage in the postseason is really pretty close to 500 right now. And when Granderson gets on, it is setting up Wright, the newly colossal Murphy, and then Cespedes. Got a moment to remind you to call Boccia for your waterproofing needs. They've been protecting businesses and homes from water damage for 60 years. Proudly serving Long Island and Queens. Visit BocciaBrothers.com, BOCCIABROS.com. So here's David Wright with Murphy gaining some attention just by now being on deck. It really is Murphy's world all of a sudden. And the pitch to David, steered in for a strike on the outside, 0-1. We have fun here in New York talking about the Murphiliciousness of one Daniel Murphy. Cubs fans hear that last name Murphy, and we talked about this a bit yesterday. It is nails on a chalkboard. The more you kind of dive into Cub history and what the name Murphy connotes. 0-1 delivery from Arrieta. Check swing foul up and over Murphy. Hey, don't hit him.
Wow.
Please.
That was scary.
Murphy bent out of the way like he was in the Matrix, and the ball went beyond him into about the 8th row, so all is fine. But the fabled Billy Goat, the supposed curse of the Billy Goat for the Cubs, that Billy Goat supposedly was named Murphy. Really? And of course, when the Cubs crumbled in 1969, when the Mets got past him, the radio guy for the Mets was Murphy. And then in 84, where they blew it in San Diego, they played at Bob Murphy's brother's stadium, Jack Murphy Stadium. And now here's Murphy about to have his walk-up music from the Dropkick Murphys tonight. It's already kicked him into an 0-1 hole in this series.
Where's Candace Bergen when you need her?
Auditioning secretaries, I believe. 0-2 is a curve inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. David Wright, not quite on the Murphy bandwagon yet. He's not doing much in terms of hitting the ball in the postseason at 2 for 20. But he's 1 for his last 1. And that was against Arrieta over the head of Fowler tonight. 1-2 pitch curve. Swing and a miss. Runner goes. The throw down short. Hops and Granderson is safe. So even though Wright strikes out, Granderson able to get his 2nd stolen base now this postseason. 1 out. And of all things, I mean, I'm really going to say this. You got to be pitching carefully to Murphy with Cespedes on deck. That sounds bizarre coming out of my mouth, but I mean, that's where we are here.
I can't disagree with you.
Daniel Murphy first gained some national fame opening day last year. Remember? When he missed opening day because of the birth of his son, Noah Syndergaard on the mound tonight. Looks like they're putting 4 fingers up, and this really is an incredible story now. And now hold everything. Montero, right before Arrieta was going to throw intentional ball 1 of 4 outside, goes to the mound. They're going to talk about this.
Well, meanwhile, the Cubs have Travis Wood, a left-hander, up in the bullpen. Maybe going out to the mound was to buy a little time for him. But at the same time, I'm just staring at Cespedes, wondering if he's ever heard of Kevin McReynolds. Because in situations like this, if it were Darryl Strawberry at the plate being walked by a right-hander to get to McReynolds, Kevin McReynolds seethed. And they aren't going to walk Murphy here. So I wonder if Cespedes can somehow internalize this as an insult the way McReynolds seemingly did. Because Kevin McReynolds would batter pitchers who walk batters in front of him.
There is ball 2 winged outside. Well, Cespedes, who frankly is about as good a quote as McReynolds was.
Maybe better.
Yeah. Well, Kevin never liked to talk to the media or anybody. I mean, not even his teammates, right? He'd dress and leave the stadium right away. But if you can't enjoy this right now, and let's face it, there is everything to enjoy about being a Met. As ball 4 goes outside, Murphy, again, do not adjust your set, was just intentionally walked so that Arrieta could pitch to Cespedes. Chris Bosio, the pitching coach, is out to the mound, wearing what looks like Gore-Tex. 44 degrees right now. The winds, we're told, are at 24 miles an hour. And if Jim Cantori or somebody wants to tweet in what the wind chill is, I'd be interested in that. But it's not warm. Arrieta continues to have at it with no sleeves. Texas tough guy. But he's behind 3-0, and the Mets looking to jump on him now. Arrieta this year had a whip, the hits and walks per innings pitched, of 0.86. Second lowest in franchise history. You got to go back to Mordecai Three-Finger Brown in, yes, of all years, 1908. Infield, a double play depth. Cespedes looking to smoke one here. The pitch. Low in the dirt, the curve smothered by Montero, 1-0. You know, and that snappy slider that we have seen before from Arrieta and certainly heard about ad nauseum coming into this series just has not been there for Arrieta yet tonight. I think he's gotten more swings and misses on his changeup than with that slider. Duda's on deck. Mets leading by 3. We're in the bottom of the third inning. Cespedes on his 30th birthday tonight. Runner going second to third. Pitch taken low. Throw to third. Close, safe. It is Granderson sealing third, having already stolen second. Murphy hanging out at first base.
I'd have to see the replay, but I think you can give an assist to Curtis Granderson, or pardon me, an assist to Yoenis Cespedes on that stolen base. He stood his ground in the batter's box, although he did duck, but he made Montero, the catcher, work around him, creating a more problematic throw to get Granderson to where he can score on an out now.
Keep in mind it's still a double play away from getting out of the inning for the Cubs. First and third, 1 out. 2-0 though. Nice friendly hitters count for Cespedes. Here it comes from Arrieta. Swing and a shot foul into the crowd. Back to the right of the net as we see it. It's 2-1. Fans, you can take home a piece of the game tonight, including a jersey from the game with Mets Amazing Memorabilia. The official source for game used and autographed Mets collectibles. More info, go to Mets.com/game used.
Just another steal of third base for the Mets. That's become routine, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's another little weird sidelight to this postseason, which is going great. Mets leading 3-0. 2-1 pitch. Swing, chop ball left side. Backhand pickup. Baez. No throw. Run scores. 4-0 New York. Murphy stops at second. Cespedes now at first. Everything's coming up blue and orange here. They walked Murphy to get to Cespedes, and yeah, they got the ground ball, but it was wide of Baez to his backhand side. He couldn't field it cleanly. And now Duda with an opportunity to break through.
Big stolen base. You give Cespedes a little credit for helping out in the batter's box.
Well, and again, just to review with Arrieta, here's a guy that gave up, and we're not kidding, 2 runs total in his last 9 regular season starts. 2 in 9 starts. He's given up 4 in 2 1/3 innings tonight. Travis d'Arnaud now on deck, and Duda at the plate. Here's the pitch, and it's taken on the outside edge, strike 1. Duda having struck out in the first inning, now 2 for 19 in postseason play with 12 strikeouts. And yet the Mets have not been hurt by his lack of buoyancy here. They're swimming the strong Australian crawl. Up ahead 4-0 tonight. Pitch. Bounced up there. Nobody can advance. Montero's got to track that ball down up the third base line. 1 ball, 1 strike. Arrieta, who played at TCU in Fort Worth with Cardinals All-Star Matt Carpenter, basically tweaked his mechanics under Chris Bosio here in Chicago. Bosio said, if you want to throw across your body, that's fine with me. And if that gives you tilt on that slider, I don't care what it looks like, do it. The Orioles never wanted him doing that. So he was a decent pitcher there, but not out of this world like he's been for Chicago. Time called. There goes Montero again. Somewhere Jorge Posada's watching going, that's too many trips to the mound. That's got to be 5 or 6 in this inning. Big, lively crowd trying to stay warm. And it helps that the Mets are already leading 4-0. They won yesterday 4-2. Matt Harvey getting a lot of good things done yesterday, and it sure appears that all is forgiven with the fan base, doesn't it? 7 2/3 innings, the most innings pitched by a Met in the postseason since Al Leiter in Game 5 of the 2000 World Series. 1 ball, 1 strike to Duda. Murphy at second, Cespedes at first. Shift is on for Lucas, and now the pitch. Swinging a towering pop-up, shallow left field. Long run for Baez, going back and making the catch. Runners have to hold at first and second. It'll bring up Travis d'Arnaud. That's now a 2 for 20 for Duda. And d'Arnaud will again hit what is now lovingly called the Apple Jack last night. Right into that casing. Out beyond the 408 mark in center field. You know, there was a cautionary tale coming in tonight. The Cubs, remember, were shut down by a tough righty in Game 1 of the NLDS. That was John Lackey. Then they never lost in that series again. Matt Harvey shut him down last night, and Cub fans were saying, all right, well, here we go now. Pitch taken inside by d'Arnaud, 1-0. You know, they're thinking we've got our ace. We've got Arrieta, Syndergaard. We don't know what will happen with him because he just got up to throw an inning the other day in L.A. He's a little off his rhythm. This is our time, thought the Cub fans, but right now 4-0 New York. 1-0 pitch, curve, smacked on the ground towards second, dropped and then picked up. Castro will lob to first, and that'll do it. Mets settled for 1 run in the inning, an inning in which Murphy was intentionally walked to get to Yoenis Cespedes. And I know, Madge, I needed to get Lulu and Mr. Fabulous too. But anyway, Chris Bryant's going to lead off here in the top of the 4th inning. Pitch from Syndergaard is down 2-0, 1-0. I guess my weird segue to you, Mark, is this is pretty amazing what Daniel Murphy is doing right now. I think Cub fans just can't believe it. They're scrambling to find out who this guy even is. 1-0 pitch, a strike at the knees, 1-1.
I think what's more interesting in the long term is you know, this power stroke that we've seen over the last couple months and now in the postseason. Is this, you know, something that Murphy's done, or is this just him being hot? And I think that's a big question for the Mets moving forward.
1-1 to Bryant, who's unlocked a lot of power. He's going to take, and on appeal, he went. The appeal to Ted Barrett at first. It's 1-2.
So, you know, obviously everybody knows what Murphy's contract situation is. He's going to be a free agent after this, and I think the Mets are going to have a really interesting decision here to make.
Murph has made it that way just over the last week. 1-2 pitch, a curve, check swing. Did he go? Not this time. Pitch outside, 2-2. Lucas Duda is not doing anything yet in this postseason, and it's almost like it doesn't matter. That was the one guy you figure was going to have to get hot to carry the team. 2-2 is drilled towards left center field, but the wind's going to hang it up. Cespedes over, gets in front of a backpedaling Conforto to make the catch. For 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. Any concern, or is this just one of those Lucas Dudas in a funk weeks right now?
I think it's the latter. It is, you know, kind of just a Lucas Duda in a funk week. But as you said, they haven't missed him, frankly. And I think that's a testament. Again, we've talked about the lineup depth here so many times this season, especially after the trade deadline. I think it's really showing up here. So, you know, we asked Terry a lot before the game about whether he's thought about moving pieces around. And he's like, you know, he's going to stick with the guys, and he's got good reason to do so.
Anthony Rizzo, left-hand batter, taking outside 1-0.
And when you look at the pitchers that they've gotten to in this postseason, it's incredible. And I think that really speaks to the fact that they've got a lot of quality bats out there every night.
1-0 delivery taken on the outside edge, 1-1. Yeah, even though Kershaw got him once here, you know, they got Kershaw there. And Greinke wasn't exactly at top form either time he faced the Mets. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball low, 2-1, and seems like Terry is kind of down with that too. That, hey, you know, you get some confidence doing to those guys what they did. So Lester and Arrieta, even though they're great, you kind of already run that race. Rizzo, an MVP candidate, and the pitch, bouncing ball, hard foul down the first base line, 2-2.
I think the big thing to realize about judging the Mets at bats. Like, there's one thing to look at the quality of the at bats, and there's one thing to look at the results. They're only hitting .218 as a team in the playoffs coming in, but they've battled with every at bat. They've been quality at bats.
2-2 pitch. Swinging, it's poked into the air. David Wright marching in from third, battling the wind, steadies himself, makes a one-hand catch to the left of the mound. 2 up, 2 down. And Starlin Castro will be the batter. Chatting with Mark Carrig from Newsday. Terry Collins versus Joe Madden is kind of another interesting sidelight to this series. Is it fair to say the winner of this series is the odds-on favorite to be your National League Manager of the Year?
They do that voting before the postseason.
Oh.
So, I don't know if this has any bearing, but certainly both guys have done a tremendous job with their clubs.
Two guys that know each other so well from all the way back to basically around 1980. Pitch to Castro, running to the inside corner, strike one.
We've seen this trend of managers with significant playing experience, and I think Joe and Terry are kind of throwbacks in that regard, where neither made the major leagues, but obviously know what they're doing in the dugout.
Mets leading 4-0 in the top of the fourth. This is game 2 in the best of 7. The Mets ahead in the series 1-0 because of the 4-2 win last night. Matt Harvey's won everybody back, hasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any question about that at this point. That's the only way you can do it, is to perform on a stage like that.
The kick, the 0-1 to Castro, taken on the outside edge. 0-2. So Syndergaard, remember, had that 20-pitch first inning. Looked like it might be a long night for him. But he's got the throttle down right now. 66 pitches and almost through the fourth inning. 0-2 to Castro. Been a hot hitter since the end of July. The pitch. Swing a little dribbler up the first base line. Stays right to the chalk. Duda grabs it. Fair ball. Tags him. And that's the inning. Boy, Duda, if he had waited just another millisecond, was going to have that ball bend to foul on him. He grabbed it right on top of the chalk line. Tagged Castro. And that's the inning. It's a one-hitter through 4 for Noah Syndergaard. And thank you very much, Mr. Mark Carrig.
Thank you.
Play the bottom of the fourth when we come back. The Mets 4 and the Cubs nothing. Michael Conforto, one hit in the postseason. It was a home run off the foul pole in L.A. And the pitch to young MC is taken low, 1-0. Conforto and Schwarber, the two young left fielders in this game. They were taken 4th and 10th, respectively, in the draft just last summer. A couple of college guys. Conforto, of course, from Oregon State. 1-0 pitch taken under the hands for a strike, 1-1. Well, Conforto, making the major league minimum, has overtaken the $14 million a year. Michael Kadire is the everyday left fielder. 1-1 bounce to the plate. Conforto checking on the curveball, 2-1. Power and plate discipline, those are the two things most coveted by Conforto's boss, Sandy Alderson, and Conforto certainly has them. Remember, he's yet to play in AAA. He hopped right from Binghamton in late July, and he's never looked back. 2-1, pounded into the shift on the right side, backhand pickup and a throw across in time to get him. That's 5-3 in your scorebook, because the third baseman Bryant was playing where a second baseman would be, although back on the grass out there in right. So 1 up, 1 down, and up comes Wilmer Flores. Murphy's kind of borrowed the mantle, I guess, from Flores in terms of cult hero. Flores, the Met who lived to attend his own funeral in late July. The man who wept those goodbye forever tears and then never ended up leaving. Pitch from Arrieta's outside, 1-0. Remember, Wilmer recently has dealt with a bad back, and he had strep throat about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, too. Lost 10 pounds. He's gained most of that back. 1-0, brushing outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
That weight loss was evident to the naked eye, to those of us who are used to seeing Wilmer on a daily basis. Didn't for a couple of days, and when we did, you could really tell that he had dropped a significant amount of weight.
The 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss, 2-1. If he wants to put on a quick 4 or 5, deep dish pizza when we get to Chicago. That stuff's more really casserole than it is pizza.
I'm in.
One of the chants heading out of here yesterday had to do with the relative merits of New York-style pizza against Chicago-style. 2-1 is fouled straight back, 2-2. Let's just say it was kind of a pejorative chant towards the deep dish. But that's pretty inventive. I love that. Met fans seizing any opportunity to tell Cub fans that not only is Harvey better, but the pizza's better. Mets ahead 4-0 tonight. Here's a 2-2 delivery from Arrieta. Swung on and missed. He got him. 92-mile-an-hour fastball to the inside part of the plate. And, all of a sudden, Howie, this start for Arrieta actually looks almost exactly the same as the one that Jacob deGrom had at Wrigley Field. Give up 3 runs right away in the bottom of the first inning with nobody out. And you've got to figure out a way through that. Give up another run somewhere around the 3rd or 4th. And then settle right in. deGrom hung around long enough in that game for that game to be close. 5-4 final. Syndergaard swings and misses. It's 0-1. deGrom, by the way, who twice has taken his lumps this year against the Cubs, gets the start coming up on Tuesday night in Chicago. 0-1 pitch is up and outside, 1-1. And that's why, just, in terms of psychological momentum, if you will, if the Mets hang on to this lead tonight and they're up 2-0 going in with their ace on the mound, having just beaten the Cubs ace. 1-1 pitch is low, 2-1. Psychologically, the Mets will go in there with their chests puffed way out. And let's face it, Cub fans who collectively, or we said it yesterday, they're like Charlie Brown waiting for Lucy to pull that football back so they land on their zigzags. I mean, they're kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop. 2-1, ripped on the ground towards second, and down on a knee to get it. Castro up and throwing to first in time. That retires the side. 5 straight back to last inning, sent down by Arrieta. And at the end of 4, the Mets 4, and the Cubs nothing. A home run robbing catch, one of the many things, Mr. Rose, going very, very right for the New York Mets.
Curtis Granderson going over that orange line in front of the Mets bullpen to bring Coughlin's ball back. Coughlin, Montero, and Baez for the Cubs here in the 5th. Syndergaard's first pitch. Taken for a called strike at the knees. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. So 0-1 to the former National League Rookie of the Year as a member of the Marlins. And they thought they had a kid that was going to be a star. And then a year later, he blew out his knee. The 0-1 on the way. Fastball outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Coughlin out of the University of Mississippi has proven to be an extremely valuable guy for the Cubs, considering he can play a number of different positions. The 1-1 changeup, and that's low. 2 balls and 1 strike to Coughlin. Syndergaard now at 70 pitches thrown. That's, a little on the high side here to be starting the 5th inning. 4-0 Mets. Here's the 2-1 to Coughlin. Way outside and high. Missed badly with a changeup there, and it's 3-1. Coughlin, the number 6 hitter in the lineup. On deck hitter Miguel Montero, another left-handed batter. Syndergaard's handled the lefties well. Here's the 3-1 on the way. Swing and a broken bat, roller to the left side, cut off by Wright, spins, throws, got him at first. 1 away. Nice play by David Wright.
Boy, these guys are a Chamber of Commerce ad come to life here. I mean, everything that you're supposed to be doing on a baseball field, they're doing in an expert fashion. That spin move by David Wright, that doesn't look like a guy with spinal stenosis at all.
Well, Miguel Montero will be the batter now. He was caught looking his first time. Montero out of Venezuela. Been an all-star a couple of times in his career with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Wright is even with a bag and off the line at third. The outfield straightaway. First pitch. Fastball in for a called strike. 0-1. And Syndergaard maintaining his velocity. 97 miles an hour on that fastball. I didn't really see Matt Harvey get up there last night. Not to 97. The 0-1 on the way. Curved. Did he hold his swing? They check at third, and he did. I think that's the right call from up here. Third base ump Eric Cooper saying ball 1. Montero did a great job to keep those wrists from breaking the plane of home plate. From the Syndergaard averages 98 with his fastball. The 1-1 breaking ball down and in. 2 balls and 1 strike. Infielders blowing on their hands, trying to stay warm. 2-1 to Montero, swung on and missed. 97 again with a fastball, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Syndergaard has 6 strikeouts tonight. He's made 8 strikeout appearances in his last 5 starts. The 2-2 to Montero, swung on and missed, strike 3, and there's number 7 on this one. So 2 away, and the number 8 hitter, Javier Baez, coming up. Syndergaard, coming into this game, had allowed just 2 hits and 14 at-bats by left-handed batters. And Fowler, a switch hitter, 0 for 1. Schwarber, 0 for 2. That's 3, 5, 7, 9. They're 0 for 9 against him tonight. So the lefties 2 for 23 against Syndergaard. Baez, a right-hand batter, bounces one foul to the third base side over by the Cubs dugout. The count 0-1. Baez missed about 6 weeks in midseason this year with a fractured finger. There's never been any question about the fact that he's a blue chip prospect, but they've got to control the strikeouts. The 0-1 fastball fouled back to the screen, 0-2. He came up last year and he was absolutely all or nothing, but he had a much better year in the Cubs minor league system this year, and then came up to the big club and hit well for them. Crowd standing, waving their orange towels. Syndergaard into the windup. The 0-2 pitch. Curve swung on and missed, strike 3. Side retired. 8 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard. 6 consecutive start he's done that. The Cubs go in order and to the middle of the 5th. A breaking ball on the count 0-2. There's that good slider by Jake Arrieta. And again, 3 infielders on the right side for Granderson. He pounded one behind Chris Bryant, the third baseman, over in short right field for his first inning single. That's how the Cubs are aligned now. The 0-2 in the dirt. A changeup, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Granderson with Wright and Murphy to follow. Crowd has been chanting something or other virtually all night, particularly when the Mets got off to that fast start in the bottom of the first. And now the 1-2 pitch. High, ball 2, 2-2. It was pitch number 82 thrown by Arrieta. Retired the last 5. He continues to wear the sleeveless shirt. Now the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a ground ball to the right side, fielded by the shortstop Baez to the right of second base. He throws to first in time, 1 away. Actually, that was Castro, the second baseman, who fielded it. So 1 down, and David Wright will be the hitter. The scoreboard update sponsored by the New York Lottery. Make the most of the numbers in front of you every day. Play Win 4 and numbers from the New York Lottery. American League Championship Series resumes tomorrow in Toronto. Royals lead the series 2-0. They'll send Johnny Cueto to the mound against Marcus Stroman, the Long Islander. Wright with that RBI double in the first. That was the best swing that David Wright has had this postseason. First pitch slider outside, 1-0. He absolutely drilled one over the head of the center fielder Dexter Fowler. Granderson was the runner at first, and he was going on the pitch, so he scored easily as that ball went over Fowler's head and one hopped the wall. The 1-0 on the way. Foul back towards the screen just to the right of it, 1-1. Mets got a little bit of a break on that double by David in that the ball took a hop on the warning track, but it hit the fence and stayed in play. Now, if it had gone over the fence, even with Granderson running, he would have had to go back to third. And, you know, the next batter, Murphy, homered, but you don't know if the sequence would have been the same. The 1-1 taken for a called strike. Fastball on the count, 1-2. The way Murphy's going, he would have gotten anything and probably still done the same thing with it. But the ride he's having. Fowler a couple of steps the other way in center. And Arrieta with a 1-2 pitch. It's in there, strike 3 called. So Arrieta looked like a change, had a little bit of a wrinkle to it. And for Jake Arrieta, that's his 7th strikeout. So clearly he's settled in. And with 2 out, nobody on, Daniel Murphy coming up. Thing of it is, though, Arrieta is due to lead off the 6th inning. The Cubs have the bullpen going now, so there's a pretty good chance this is going to be it for Jake Arrieta. Murphy, a 2-run homer, then was walked intentionally, and that led to Cespedes, who hit that infield hit to short to drive a run home. First pitch taken low, 1-0. That was back in the 3rd inning. Granderson had stolen 3rd. The Mets had runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 out, and Granderson stole 3rd. Cespedes, although he ducked away from the throw, really held his ground in the batter's box. That made a tougher throw for Montero. The 1-0 change-up in for a called strike, 1-1. Well, the Mets have not had a base runner since Cespedes had that infield hit. Now the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a foul coming straight back out of play. The count 1-2. So with Murphy batting now, Arrieta's retired 7 hitters in a row. He's at 90 pitches, and in all likelihood, he'll be coming out of the game, and the Mets will look at that as some sort of a feather. They can pluck inside of their blue caps. They get Arrieta out of this game after 5 innings. As good as the Cubs' bullpen's been, that's an achievement. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Curve outside and high. 2-2 to Daniel Murphy. Terry Collins called Murph a baseball junkie before the game. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a chopper foul rolling back to the screen. You know, very often you hear Terry use the phrase, this guy's a baseball player. And it, may sound rather trite, but what he means is that Murphy's not one of those guys who, has a lot of other things he might like to be doing in his life, but baseball's what he does best, and it's that's what allows him to make the most money. He's consumed with every facet of the game. Now the 2-2 on the way. Change up, hit foul towards the on-deck circle on the right side.
Dawns on me, Howie, as we start thinking back to the last Mets World Series title team of '86. Bill Robinson was the guy that wore 28, right? He was the hitting instructor.
Uncle Bill.
And just thinking what a great time he would have had getting to know Daniel Murphy. The conversations that would have happened on hitting between those two.
You could talk hitting with Bill Robinson forever. 2-2 on the way. On the inside corner, strike 3 called, side retired. And that's the 8th strikeout for Arrieta. So the Mets go in order, 8 in a row retired by Jake Arrieta. Even though he may be done for the night, at the end of 5, the Mets 4, the Cubs nothing. Arrieta didn't pitch well at all. Well, they gave up hits and eventually runs to the first 3 batters, but settled in nicely after that. LaStella, left-hand batter, first pitch, taken on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. LaStella struck out as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning last night. That was against Matt Harvey. Stayed in the game and then made the last out. The 0-1 fastball down and away, 1-1, but it was a rather spectacular looking last out as he hit a smash to the right side, and Murphy, the second baseman, dove and made a great play on the one hop and threw him out to end the game. 1-1 pitch in the dirt, and the count 2-1, a changeup from Syndergaard. So Arrieta done after 5, giving up 4 hits and 4 runs, walked 2, 1 intentionally, and struck out 8. The 2-1 pitch, foul back to the screen. It's 2-2 to Tommy LaStella. Of course, he gave up the home run to Daniel Murphy. Cubs have a very good bullpen. I mean, they are all, for the most part, hard throwers. 2-2 to LaStella, swinging a foul back to the screen. So it's going to be only a drop-off in status, I would think. Not necessarily in performance, grading against the curve that Arrieta set tonight by giving up the 4 runs. That's going to see a tough customer, whoever they get in the 6th inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swinging another foul back to the screen, and LaStella is hanging in. LaStella, Jersey kid who wound up going to St. John's University and then on to Coastal Carolina. Born in Westwood, New Jersey. Pitch on the way, hit in the air to straightaway center. Backing up Cespedes, he's there, and he makes the catch, 1 man out. So the pinch hitter LaStella flies to center. And back to the top of the order. And Dexter Fowler. Nissan's an easier choice than ever with their most exciting and fuel-efficient lineup. Now get great offers across their full line. Shop at your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com.
Mets have done a great job so far, Howie, with Fowler. He's reached base only once in these 2 games. He really is the catalyst setting up the whole Schwarber-Bryant-Rizzo thing.
Former Colorado Rocky and Houston Astros, a free agent after the year. First pitch, changeup outside, ball 1. Had a nice year for the Cubs, hitting .250 with 17 homers and 46 runs batted in. I don't think he's looking at huge money necessarily. He's one of those kids that's never quite played up to what the hopes were for him. The 1-0, take it outside, 2-0. But after a while you say, okay, if this is what he is, then that's useful. I mean, he'll help a team. He can run, obviously, hitting atop the order here. Stole 20 bases this season. Right off the line at third. Syndergaard's 2-0 pitch. Hit on the ground wide of second. Base hit going into right field for Fowler. Picked up by Granderson. Dexter Fowler is aboard with a 1-out single here in the 6th inning. Second hit for the Cubs, but again, Fowler is a guy you desperately want to keep off base, not so much because of the stolen base potential, but because of the power bats who follow him in the batting order, starting with Kyle Schwarber.
And 2 of these 3 power bats about to come up left-handed, and that wind is blowing at a pretty fierce clip to right. Chris Bryant hit one earlier tonight, the one right-hander about to come up with power, and the ball just seemed thumbtacked up there when he hit it towards left field.
First hit by a Cubs left-handed batter in this game against Syndergaard. So here is Schwarber. First pitch. Low and through the legs of d'Arnaud, goes to the backstop, and Fowler will go to second. And the Cubs now with a runner at second base and 1 man out. We'll see how they score that. It is a wild pitch.
And a cautionary note here, Howie. The 6th inning has been the unravel inning for Syndergaard. It's pretty consistently at that. In fact, the first time that he was on the mound in the big leagues, 5 shutout innings against these Cubs, and then in the 6th inning, everything started going askew. And I think this is a good time for d'Arnaud to go out. He just did. Went out to talk to Syndergaard. Flores came in from short as well.
Now, it looks like Bartolo Colon and Jonathan Neese are getting up in the Mets bullpen. Terry Collins and Dan Warthen very aware of what is sometimes the tipping point for Syndergaard. He's at 91 pitches. Schwarber struck out twice. Fowler bouncing off of second with 1 out. The 1-0. Breaking ball in the dirt. Ball 2. So it's 2-0 now on a dangerous hitter who's homered in 3 straight games during this postseason. Syndergaard has not appeared to have been affected by the cold temperatures at all. Generally, he's had pretty good feel for that curveball. But he's behind Schwarber here, 2-0. Now he wheels to second, just chasing Fowler back. He dives back in. Should mention, as Jonathan Neese is warming up, that he had a death in the family, and he's going to leave after the game tonight to go home to Ohio. And then he's going to drive back to Chicago. The funeral is tomorrow. He's going to rejoin the team in Chicago on Tuesday. 2-0, the count to Schwarber. Here's the pitch. Fastball line down the left field line, slicing foul and out of play. 2-1.
Can't get around on that fastball. Oh, Schwarber, if you put it in his happy zone, remember last night, home run he hit was clocked at 461 feet.
Syndergaard gave up 19 home runs in 150 innings during the regular season. Flores blowing on his hand at shortstop. Now time called at home plate. Syndergaard had retired 8 in a row before the Fowler single. Well, LaStella gave him a tough at-bat too before flying out. It's 2-1 the count. Syndergaard checks Fowler at second. Now the pitch to Schwarber. Fastball in there, strike 2 call. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And now Schwarber, of course, has to have that curveball in his head because Syndergaard has almost pitched backwards to Schwarber tonight. He has seen curves early in the count, fastballs later. 2-2 to Kyle Schwarber. Fowler leads from second. Flores in behind him. Syndergaard sets. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball low inside. Full count. So went back to the curve.
And you know what? Just like we talk about Conforto, Howie, that he's kind of wise beyond his years. That's a heck of a take right there on that dive Byman curveball. Schwarber able to lay off just in time to grow it to 3-2.
Chris Bryant, right-hand batter, is on deck. 4-0 Mets. 1 out, top of the 6th. Fowler leading off of second. Right way off the line at third. Syndergaard ready. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Noah Syndergaard with strikeout number 9 as he pulled the string with a changeup at 89. 3 times Schwarber has struck out. And before Chris Bryant, Dan Warthen, the Mets pitching coach, will pay a visit to the mound.
You know, the changeup of late, Howie, has probably been the least effective of the pitches that Noah's got. I mean, all the pitches have been outstanding for much of the year, but he's gotten to the fastball and the curve quite a bit. The changeup sometimes has been a little flat, but tonight when he's needed it, he's brought it out and it's looked great.
And I don't have all the numbers from StatCast or whatever in front of me, but Schwarber basically saw curves and fastballs.
Yeah.
And then on that 3-2 pitch, got something off speed.
And, Syndergaard, remember, is 23. He's only getting smarter, if not stronger. And that's what really gets you excited if you're a Mets fan. I mean, this kid, he really is just a kid. Already knows what he's doing out there.
96 pitches thrown by Syndergaard. 2 out, top of the 6th. Mets 4, Cubs nothing. Fowler, the runner at second, and now Chris Bryant, who singled to left and fly to center. Murphy, the second baseman, trying to keep Fowler close. Then he'll drop back into position. Syndergaard ready. First pitch. Fastball on the outside corner. Strike 1 called. A 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And really that's where Syndergaard's been with his heater pretty consistently tonight.
And it's possible that Dan Warthen went out there to say we've got a lefty for the lefty. So let it all hang out right here, big guy. This might be his last batter.
Of course, that would be Jonathan Neese, who's not a pure lefty specialist by any stretch of the imagination. And now Darno is going to go out and talk to Syndergaard. So we'll pause for station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network.
This is Kristen Marks for WOR New York. With Halloween around the corner, Senator Chuck Schumer is warning parents about the dangers of face makeup. Details after the game.
Howie Rose, Josh Lewin with you at Citi Field. 0-1 to Chris Bryant. Fowler at second, 2 out in the 6th, 4-0 Mets. The pitch outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Another 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
So everything's been down in the zone to Bryant this entire game. I don't think there's been a single pitch above his belt loops yet.
Syndergaard resting the glove against the letters of his jersey. Stares into Darno. Fowler leads from second. Here's the 1-1 to Bryant. Fastball, a little bit low. It's 2-1. So Syndergaard now triple digits. And you got to think he's coming towards the end of the line here. At least the next pitch will be number 100. David Wright pretty well on the line at third and behind the bag. The outfield deep and straight away. Syndergaard sets. Fowler leads from second. The 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball low outside, ball 3. And again, that on-deck hitter, a power-hitting left-handed batter, Anthony Rizzo. And if it is going to be John Neese to face Rizzo, well, they've seen each other before. And you would have to imagine that's a big part of why Neese is up in this inning, the guy on deck. 3-1 the count to Bryant. Syndergaard sets. Fowler leads from second. Here's the pitch. Swing and a drive deep to left field. Back goes Conforto. It is off the wall. Conforto dives to play the carom. In to score is Fowler. Going to second is Bryant. He's in there standing with a double and a run batted in. And the Mets lead is cut to 4-1. And without that wind, that ball probably leaves the yard.
I absolutely agree. That wind twice now has hung baseballs up off the bat of Bryant. Settles for the double. 4-1 game, and that's indeed going to be it now for Noah Syndergaard.
Terry Collins is on his way to the mound. And this call to the bullpen is brought to you by Lexus of Massapequa and Lexus of Rockville Center. The hand for Noah Syndergaard as he heads off. Drive south for saving.
Mercedes-Benz Tri-State Dealer.
The Mets 4, the Cubs 1, but Jonathan Neese comes on to relieve Noah Syndergaard with Chris Bryant at second, 2 out in the 6th inning. And power hitting Anthony Rizzo coming up. Neese is in a hot spot, but don't you sweat it. Get cozy with Luxair for year-round savings on heating and cooling. And so Neese will face Anthony Rizzo. He's seen him before, and he's done well. Rizzo just 2 for 17 against Neese. So Syndergaard back in the dugout. That's where the Mets want to be, but that's largely up to Neese, not a regular reliever. And the first pitch taken on the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1. I would say he had ample time to throw because the Mets got him up early here in this 6th inning. Just for this matchup. Bryant leading from second, the 0-1. Fastball at the knees, a called strike, 0-2. So now the crowd worked up again, leaving their seat cushions, waving their towels, as Neese is ahead of Anthony Rizzo, 0-2. Rizzo is struck out and popped to third. Neese comes set. Here's the pitch. And a little bit low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball at 91. And Neese is pitching with a heavy heart, with a death in the family, that he'll leave the ball club to attend to after the game tonight. It's all on Rizzo here. The 1-2. Low and inside, 2-2.
Syndergaard leaves Howie having it struck out 39 in his last not even 27 innings of work. Any thought that he has passed his pitch limit or something like that? No, forget about it. He's getting stronger.
2-2 to Anthony Rizzo. Bryant leads from second. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul straight down at home plate. He just got a piece, and the fans thought he didn't get any of it. So Neese will go back to work. Neese in this postseason has made just 1 appearance, faced 1 batter, and struck him out. That was in game 2 of the division series when he got Justin Ruggiano. 2-2, now the pitch. Check swing, the pitch breaks down and in. It is ball 3. A full count now to Anthony Rizzo. Now you've got a right-hand batter, Starlin Castro, on deck. And you wonder if Bartolo Colon would be called on in that spot.
Castro's got a home run fairly recently against Neese.
3-2. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung out and missed. Strike 3. Side retired. Jonathan Neese out of the bullpen throws a 93-mile-an-hour fastball past Anthony Rizzo, and the Cubs are done in the 6th. 15 games. He pitched to a 0.95 earned run average. So it's Travis Wood to face Cespedes, Duda, and Darno. Terry Collins certainly made the right choice to get Jonathan Neese. Struck out Anthony Rizzo. Your choices matter too. Drive responsibly. A reminder from the New York City Department of Transportation and the Vision Zero initiative. Cespedes fouled out to first and then drove in a run with an infield single in the 3rd inning. Now that's the last hitter base runner the Mets managed against Jake Arrieta. And Wood, the lefty, with his first pitch. Fastball on the inside corner to Cespedes, 0-1. Wood out of Little Rock, Arkansas, 28-year-old. Lucas Duda waiting on deck, offering protection in the lineup. The 0-1. Up and into Cespedes, 1-1, just as Norman Seabrook and the Corrections Officers Benevolent Association protect and patrol the toughest precincts in New York, the jails. Coba, New York's boldest. Outfield straight up against Cespedes. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a drive in the air to right, fairly deep. Back goes Coughlin onto the track in front of the fence. He jumps, he makes the catch, and then backs into the fence and holds on. Nice play by Chris Coughlin, the right fielder, and I suppose there's a little payback there. Not that Cespedes was involved, but it was Coughlin who hit the fly ball to right field in the second inning, which looked like it was going out of the park until Curtis Granderson jumped up and hauled it back in.
That ball was going to be just shy of that orange stripe, but Coughlin leapt up on that chicken wire fence and actually got tangled for a moment. Had to reach back down and tie his shoe when it was all done.
Well, here's Duda, and he takes a fastball to the knees, 0-1, and Lucas Duda trying somehow to get going. He's 2 for 20 with 12 strikeouts in his first postseason. Lefty against lefty, the 0-1. Swing and a foul back to the screen, and the count 0-2. Lucas did not start last night with a left-hander, John Lester, on the mound for the Cubs, who we would imagine will throw Kyle Hendricks and Jason Hamill in some order the next two games. 0-2 to Duda, a curve in the dirt, and it's 1-2.
Well, those are guys that Duda can get healthy against, and that's the right ballpark for him, too. We have no idea, obviously, yet which way the wind is blowing, in or out, when the Mets and Cubs will get at it at Wrigley, but boy, Duda's the kind of guy, if that wind is blowing out, that'll get you out of a funk.
Three infielders on the right side against him. 1-2 pitch. Just off the outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mets going to keep the bullpen up. I'm straining to see out there. I can't tell if that's Addison Reed or if Colon is still up because I can't see the full image of the pitcher. 2-2 pitch is low to Duda, 3-2.
I think that's Addison Reed. And you and I both, I know we're both getting older, but you'd think that Colon is a guy we can spot pretty easily.
You would think, but I'm kind of screened out here and only see about half of them from the side. And usually that should be enough, but
half of Colon is Reed.
Here's the payoff pitch to Duda. Swing and a foul. Back to the screen. So Lucas hanging in against the second Cubs pitcher used tonight. Cubs postseason bullpen earned run average is 2.87. They've limited the opposition, including the wild card game against the Pirates and then the Cardinals. And now the Mets to a 186 batting average against. Payoff pitch to Duda. In there, strike 3 call. He got him with a breaking ball. And Lucas Duda down on strikes. And so it continues. 2 more strikeouts for Duda tonight. 13 strikeouts. He is 2 for 21 of the plate. And Travis d'Arnaud will be the batter.
Wasn't too long ago he carried the whole team through a whole homestand. Remember that when the Washington Nationals were in and the Mets were beginning the process of pulling away? He had 9 home runs in 8 games. But now it's the rest of the team carrying him.
Well, those were big games against the Nationals. Here's d'Arnaud. First pitch fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. I mean, in case you're looking to equate postseason with some sort of nervousness or pressure that would be getting to Duda, but the way he performed against Washington, well, nothing's like the postseason or is the postseason, but, you know, that had a little some of the same significance. As the Mets knew they were going to have to win the division to get into the postseason. The 0-1, fastball right down the middle. It's 0-2 to d'Arnaud.
Well, I mean, let's face it, the Mets took full advantage of the Nationals stepping on their own tails all season long. It's one thing for the Nationals not to hit their mark, but then the Mets had to go ahead and maybe soar past theirs, and they did.
0-2 to d'Arnaud. Wood delivers. Swing and a foul hard into the seats about a dozen rows back behind the first base dugout.
That really was a huge turn for the Mets. But when the Nationals came in, remember, it was the game after Justin Upton sank the Mets battleship in the rain. The most gut punch loss of the whole year. And then Duda and company got hot right away against Washington.
0-2 to d'Arnaud. The pitch. Way outside a fastball, 1-2.
Mets had one day off to just kind of spit the taste out of that loss out of their mouth against the Padres. The Mets were dangerously close to being simply a 500 team then. And then they caught fire.
d'Arnaud became a part of that. He has 2 postseason homers. And the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a pop foul, slicing towards the seats. Over comes Rizzo, the first baseman, reaches out, makes the catch. Nice play by Anthony Rizzo. Bumped into the sidewall down the first base line, and that retires the side. Nothing across. And at the end of 6, it's the Mets 4, the Cubs 1. on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers. He had not taken that chance. He hadn't seen Familia yet, who in fact was stuck in traffic on the way to the ballpark today. But Familia said that he is good to go, so presumably if the Mets can get it to where they want their closer in the game, Familia would be the man. But right now, Addison Reed will start the 7th inning, Josh.
All right, thank you, Howie, as we come to you live from the Bob Murphy broadcast booth, proudly presented by Bigelow Tea, an American classic for 70 years. Well, Addison Street is where Wrigley Field is. Addison Reed is the pitcher for the Mets, who will try to send the Cubs back to 1060 West Addison. Down 0-2 in this best of 7. This is a big inning, the bridge inning, to get towards the back of that bullpen. Castro, a .265 hitter during the regular season, 11 home runs. And Addison Reed in with the pitch, a swing and a miss, changing up right away. It's 0-1. Reed was Steven Strasburg's closer in college at San Diego State. And remember, started this year as an Arizona Diamondback. He did very well as a Met. His first 15 games did not allow a run. Right off the line at third, behind the bag. Time requested just as Reed went to the motion. Castro stepping out. Cubs in their traveling grays with the red numerals and the blue trim. Castro's got the blue socks pulled up high. Mets in the white pants, the blue tops with the orange trim, the blue caps with the orange bills tonight. 0-1 delivery coming from the tall right-hander. Smacking in for a strike at the knees, 0-2. Castro, Coughlin, Montero, 5, 6, 7 in the order. That's pretty much a clearing in the thicket, because right before that, it's that whole Schwarber, Bryant, Rizzo part of the order, the home run hitters. 0-2 delivery, taken low, the slider, bit outside as well. Now in the bullpen for the Mets, the young lefty Steven Matz. And Terry Collins indicated he wanted to try to get Matz some work tonight. This will be a high leverage situation. 4-1 for now, and the Cubs trying to come back closer. The 1-2, punch towards third, grabbed out of the air by Wright, one away. That ball was in on Castro, just kind of muscled it towards the third baseman. David Wright was equal to it. One down, and Coughlin coming up.
Boy, Terry Collins told us so many times during the second half of the season how reluctant he would be to use Steven Matz in the bullpen for a lot of reasons during the postseason. But there he is, getting ready as expected.
We had heard the other day how reluctant he would be to use Noah Syndergaard in a big spot in L.A. And in the 7th inning, he came up huge. 7 hits in the game total. The Mets have 4 of them. The Cubs have 3. Mets leading 4-1. Daniel Murphy, again, the difference maker. Coughlin will take, and it's low, 1-0. He had a career year. 48 extra base hits in the regular season. Robbed of a home run tonight by a leaping Curtis Granderson back in the 2nd inning. 1-0 delivery comes, taken, and it's inside, 2-0. Scoreboard update sponsored by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Take advantage of exceptional lease and finance offers on select 2015 models. Go to MBUSA.com. This is the only game, at least tonight. ALCS gets going again tomorrow with the Royals up 2-0. 2-0 is taken. Inside corner, called a strike, 2-1. Johnny Cueto against Marcus Stroman tomorrow for Toronto. Wright well off the line at third against the left-hand batter. 2-1 pitches popped in the air. Wright is perfectly positioned to settle under it. Pounds the glove once, twice, makes the catch over his left shoulder, 2 down. David Wright takes care of a line drive and a pop-up here in the 7th inning, and the batter will be Miguel Montero. Last time we saw these Cubs, they were only 7 games over 500. They finished 32 games over 500. 49-19 in the season's second half. But so far, it's been all Mets here at Citi Field. Remember, the Mets getting home field advantage because they won their division. The Cubs did not, even though the Cubs had a much better record than the Mets. Pitch on the way, stroked foul, back to the net, 0-1. That's why the Cubs have to make only one trip to Chicago, which will be rocking. Let's not kid ourselves, even if indeed the Mets are up 2-0. Cub fans feeling like this team that they've got this year, they're on a mission. That was established all the way back in the offseason with Joe Madden coming aboard. 0-1 pitch is pounded foul out of play left side, 0-2. So Addison Reed out of the bullpen and ignoring the nervous murmurs from this crowd. He's been great so far, trying to finish off Montero. Jorge Soler has come out on deck, a power threat. Left-hand batter Montero, the former Diamondback, teammate of Addison Reed. On 0-2, here it comes. Taken, slider low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Montero had some good seasons catching in Arizona. Remember, the Cubs made a run at Russell Martin. That's who they really wanted to be their catcher this year. They missed on him, settled for Montero. 15 homers in the regular season. Deep in the box and ready. 1-2 pitch taken inside, almost hit him. 2-2. Last year, these Cubs lost 89 games after seasons of 96 and 101. Not the vision Theo Epstein had when he took this job as a GM, but boy, they're ahead of schedule this year. The 2-2 pitch, swinging, it's lofted foul left side again. Back in the crowd, which has been braving the elements here. Going to be another 44,000 plus crowd announced tonight. A lot of the fans in right center wearing bright orange T-shirts over whatever coats they have, and they're waving those orange towels. 4-1 New York. We're in the top of the 7th. Right well off the bag at third base. Duda near the line at first. The 2-2 pitch taken. A little bit low. Maybe outside. Full count. Reed working in short sleeves. San Diego guy, but not scared by the elements here tonight. We're down to 41 degrees right now. 3-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a high pop up again. Reed points it out. Out goes Darno. Staggers a bit. Follows it. Jumps and makes the catch right near home plate. Travis Darno all bundled up himself. He's able to grab one just as David Wright had done moments ago. 6-2-4, 88-88. Conforto, a 270 batter during the regular season. Lefty to lefty, showing bunt is Conforto. Takes a strike at the knees, 0-1.
Looks like Tyler Clippard is throwing in the Mets bullpen. I don't think Jerry's Familia will be asked to get anything more than 3 outs in this game because of his recent workload.
0-1 to Conforto. He checks his swing, takes outside 1-1. Mets had that 3-run first inning. Did tack on 1 in the third. A Cespedes infield single to knock in that run. The Mets have been very quiet since then. 1-1 pitch. Flies to the outside corner, called a strike. Matter of fact, the Mets are now 0 for their last 11 in this game.
They haven't had a hit to the outfield since Murphy's home run in the first inning.
That's right.
Just the infield hit by Cespedes.
1-2 delivery, taken, and it's rung up on the inside corner, strike 3. It's been kind of a wide zone to the inside from Tim Timmons of late. 12 straight Mets have been retired, and up comes Wilmer Flores. Get a look at the replay. You know what? That was a strike, right on the inside edge. Leeds Brown Law would like to remind you this copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of Sterling Mets, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mets. Pitch to Flores, finds the outside corner, strike 1. LeedsBrownLaw.com, employment law, civil rights, and discrimination representation you can trust.
Juan Lagares is on deck to bat for Addison Reed.
Pitch on the way from Wood. Late swing and a miss by Flores. 0-2. Flores among the players tonight, all bundled up. He's got his chin and his mouth covered. You can see his nose and his eyes. That's it.
That was not a comfortable looking swing, was it?
No. Late and cold. Outfield straight away. The 0-2 pitch taken, and that is strike 3. Pretty much right down the middle. Well, Flores not having a great night. He was 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts and a soft little line out. And now it will be Juan Lagares trying to get the Mets kick-started again. Tuesday night, we'll have the action for you at 8:07 with the first pitch. Jacob deGrom will be on the mound. And remember, two of his poorer outings this year have been against the Cubs. I'm sure that's on Jacob's mind to make sure that the third time's a charm. Steven Matz is scheduled to go in Game 4 the following night. Lagares having a good postseason, 5 out of 10, rips one foul off the catcher's gear, 0-1. By the way, just saw where Addison Reed dialed up one of his pitches, Howie, at 95.3 miles an hour. And that's basically about 2 miles an hour faster than what we're used to seeing out of Addison Reed.
Well, he hasn't pitched much lately.
And there's that playoff adrenaline, too. The 0-1, swing and a miss, no balls, 2 strikes. Syndergaard got up to 101. We hadn't seen that. We had seen 100. Talking about in L.A., of course. Tonight, Syndergaard was more 97, 98-ish, brushed 99 a few times. Like we're complaining about that.
Who's we? Don't drag me into this.
Yeah, no. I got spoiled by all those hundos in L.A.
Yep.
Granderson waits on deck. Boy, speaking of being spoiled by somebody, Granderson has had a tremendous playoff run so far. 0-2 pitch is outside to Lagares. It's 1-2.
Juan obviously will stay in for defense when we go to the 8th inning.
Yep, so we've seen the last of Conforto tonight. 4-1 Mets. Now the rock in the pitch from Travis Wood. That's up and outside, 2-2. Wood is a fly ball pitcher. And I know the ball's not carrying to left tonight, but you get one up in the air to right or right center. If Lagares can put one of those kind of swings on it, one of those David Wright kind of swings on it, he's got the potential to hit one out. Wind up the 2-2 pitch. He swings and he misses, doesn't get it. Now the Mets are done in short order here in the 7th. Wood striking out the side. New York all of a sudden 0 for its last 14. And it's up to the bullpen now to keep the Cubs off the board. See, Terry Collins calls on Tyler Clippard, who for a while when he first came over was nails in the 8th inning. You didn't worry about him at all. But he kind of staggered to the finish line in the regular season. His postseason ERA is 5.4. Lagares stays in. He's in center. Cespedes now shifting to left. And Chris Denorfia will come up as a pinch hitter as we get going in the 8th inning. 8-9-1 in the order. So LaStella will follow and then Fowler. And then all the big boys after that. 4-1 New York, and back for the rest of the play-by-play, here is Howie Rose.
All right, Josh, thank you very much. Denorfia batting for Travis Wood, the pitcher. And Clippard with right, even with a bag at third. Into the windup, and the first pitch to the right-hand hitter, a fastball swung on and missed, 0-1. Denorfia had a lot of trouble early in the season with his left hamstring and wound up on the disabled list a couple of times. Did hit .269 in 103 games with 3 homers and 18 runs batted in. And now the 0-1. There's the changeup, and that's in for a called strike. 0-2. Clippard in to protect the lead, just as Norman Seabrook of the Corrections Officers Benevolent Association protect and patrol the toughest precincts in New York, the jails. Coba, New York's boldest. 0-2 to Denorfia. And Clippard delivers. Fastball fouled straight back over the screen. He jammed him with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. So Travis Wood continues his sort of reinvention as a reliever, as he was terrific, retiring all 6 batters that he faced. And 4 of them via strikeout. So 0-2 to Denorfia. Clippard delivers. Swinging a high pop-up, middle of the infield. Daniel Murphy, the second baseman, on the dirt, reaches back and makes the one-hand catch for the out. And that win, once you get that ball up on the air, particularly in the infield, it's an adventure. And Murphy was able to stay with it, and that's the first out here in the 8th inning.
Last 3 batters have all put it in play just like that, those pop-up adventures. And every Murph moment so far in this postseason has been a good one.
Well, now it's Tommy LaStella who pinch hit in the 6th inning for Jake Arrieta, flied to center and then stayed in the game at second base. LaStella, a left-hand batter, and again David Wright off the line, even with a bag. At third, first pitch, change up, and that's outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Clippard making just his third appearance of the postseason and an inning and 2/3, giving up 2 hits and a run. Sort of mirroring the problems he had in the last month of the season. The 1-0 changeup ripped towards first, picked by Duda down to his knee, leads Clippard to the bag in time, 2 men away. Nice play by Lucas Duda on a hard hit ball by Tommy La Stella. And now with 2 out, Dexter Fowler coming up. And again, in some ways, with all the power hitters that the Cubs have in the lineup, this is the guy you really need to get to prevent those guys who can deliver multiple runs with one swing should Fowler reach base from coming to the plate.
It's really been a key, really not just tonight, but in game 1 as well. Don't put a bunch of Cubs on so those big bats can beat you.
It looks like Steven Matz is still up in the Mets bullpen. The pitch to Fowler. Swung on and missed, nothing at 1. He pulled the string. So Matz ready if needed. Or is he? I'm trying to read Ricky Bonas. He's not waving a towel. He just kind of made sort of a safe sign with his hands in the Mets bullpen. Schwarber, a left-hand hitter, is on deck. 0-1 the count. Now Clippard delivers. There's the changeup. It's outside and low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Wright stays off the line at third with Fowler, a switch hitter, batting left. He's grounded to second, walked, singled and scored. 4-1 Mets. 2 out, nobody on. Top of the 8th. Clippard into the windup. The 1-1 pitch. Just missed the inside corner with a fastball. That's 2-1. One of the biggest reasons the Mets got Tyler Clippard was for the success they felt he would give them against left-hand hitters because of his changeup. 2-1 pitch. Now that one is spiked the change in the dirt. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. Again, to a guy that you just can't afford to put on with Schwarber and Bryant, Rizzo, the next 3 hitters. And Matz throwing earnestly in the Mets bullpen. Again, Familia not. I don't think we would see him until the 9th inning if there's a save situation. 3-1 pitch. Swing and a liner to left center coming over Lagares. He won't reach it. It's in for a hit. Lagares picks it up. Almost overran the ball, but fires back in. And there's Dexter Fowler again. And now a decision for Terry Collins. Boy, is this a tough one. You've got Steven Matz, who's never worked out of the bullpen in his brief major league career. Clippard is here because his changeup is supposed to be able to get left-hand hitters out. Schwarber has struck out 3 times tonight, although against the power of Noah Syndergaard, the power and the curve. So it is going to be Clippard to face Schwarber. 4-1 New York. That was the 4th hit for the Cubs. Infield tilts to the right. They're not overshifted. First pitch. Change up outside, ball 1 with Chris Bryant waiting on deck.
Schwarber can get in a position where he's waiting for a fastball. Remember, it was the 8th inning yesterday where he waited on the pitch he wanted and buried it 460 feet.
Flores, the shortstop, looking very uncomfortable because of the cold, just to the left of second base. Here's the 1-0 pitch, change up, and that's low, ball 2. 2-0 to Schwarber with Bryant on deck. And Clippard is pitching himself into a big-time jam. Matz keeps throwing, but it's not for Bryant. You wouldn't think. 2-0 to Schwarber. Clippard sets, now the pitch. Change up, that's in for a called strike. It's 2-1.
Everything's been away. It's just that one nipped the outside corner. The other 2 were a couple inches off.
Boy, does Flores look uncomfortable at shortstop. He's got that facial protection up over his mouth. He's got his right hand in his back pocket trying to stay warm. Nobody else appears as uncomfortable as Flores does. 2-1 the count. Clippard sets. Now the pitch. Swung on and missed. He gave him the fastball, and it's 2-2.
Located it perfectly, up and away. That's where you need it with this guy.
Well, it's Sunday night. Remember Clippard's major league debut on a Sunday night in Flushing? He was victorious as a Yankee. against the Mets at Shea Stadium. Now the crowd again on their feet, waving their towels. 2-2 to Schwarber. Clippard sets, Fowler runs. The pitch lifted in the air to left field. Should be easy. Cespedes is there, makes the catch, side retired. So Clippard got Schwarber out in front of a changeup, and the Cubs are done in the eighth. Throwing in their bullpen. We may see him in this inning as well. You've got another left-handed hitter 2 batters away in Daniel Murphy. Last night Richard faced Murphy, however, and got him to ground out in the 8th inning. But for the Mets, it's been crickets since the 3rd inning. 14 Mets in a row have been retired by Cubs pitching. Last Mets hit was an infield single by Yoenis Cespedes, which brought home the 4th Mets run. And so now Granderson will face Richard. Curtis singled and scored in the 1st, walked and scored in the 3rd, grounded the 2nd and the 5th. They overshift the infield, 3 of them on the right side against him. And the first pitch to Granderson is a fastball that's on the outside corner for a called strike. 0-1. 91-mile-an-hour fastball from Clayton Richard. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a foul tip into the mid of the catcher Montero. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Shortstop Starlin Castro backs into position now. The 0-2 fastball a little bit high, 1-2. Castro is up about halfway. He's the lone infielder on the left side. Bryant, the third baseman, has gone to short right field. 1-2 pitch. Fastball outside. Pops out of Montero's mitt. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So now Jerry's Familia is up in the Mets bullpen. The 2-2 pitch. Outside. And so it's full to Granderson, who's already drawn 1 walk in this game. Remember, Curtis was 6th in the National League in walks this year. Here's the payoff pitch. Swinging a chopper foul off his foot. Winds up bouncing right back to him just outside the batter's box, and Curtis flips it to the Mets ball boy. Cubs will have Bryant, Rizzo, and Castro due up in the 9th inning. Here's the payoff pitch to Granderson. Swing and a foul back over the screen. Richard jamming him with 91. David Wright waiting on deck. Fowler again, pretty shallow in center field. Here's the payoff pitch to Granderson. Swinging a chopper to the right side, waiting on it Rizzo, the first baseman. He's got it. Underhands to Richard, covering in time, 1 away. 15 straight Mets have been retired by Cubs pitching. And David Wright will be the batter.
Boy, it's really shaping up as that game DeGrom pitched, not Arrieta, between the Mets and the Cubs at Wrigley Field to get this whole season series going. Gave up 3 right away, nobody out, bottom of the 1st, and then everything just stops. It's only been a 1-1 game since then.
So here is Wright, who got the first run home in the 1st inning when he doubled over the head of Fowler in center to score Granderson. First pitch ripped to 3rd, caught by Bryant, 2 men away. David on a fastball there, lined it right to the Cubs' 3rd baseman. And so it goes. 2 out, nobody on, and now Daniel Murphy, and it was Murph, after Wright doubled, who hit one just inside the foul pole on the lower level seats in right field for a 2-run homer. That made it 3-0. Daniel Murphy now has hit 5 postseason home runs,
which ties an all-time Mets record in franchise history, and he's basically 1 series and a little bit of 1 more in.
Tying Mike Piazza's record. First pitch. Fastball taken on the inside corner for a called strike. 0-1.
And home runs in 4 straight postseason games. Howie hasn't been done by anybody since Evan Longoria 7 years ago.
The 0-1. Swing and a foul rolling back to the backstop, 0-2. Now, people hear that Clendenin hit home runs in 3 straight games in 1969. Those were 3 straight games in which he played. He hit his home runs in games 2, 4, and 5. He did not start game 3 against the Orioles against the righty Jim Palmer. Eddie Kranepool played first base that day. Kranepool wound up hitting a home run in that game. 0-2 pitch. Murphy takes high, 1-2. Eddie's only World Series home run. He hit that off of Dave Leonard. I think Leonard was a left-hander. I'd have to go back and look. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And Murph lines it towards short. Base hit going into left field. So Murphy turns first and holds on with the Mets' first hit since the third inning. 16 Mets in a row had been retired by Cubs pitching. Murphy now 2 out of 3. And Yoenis Cespedes will be the batter, but not against the lefty Richard. Joe Madden, the Cubs manager, is on his way to the bullpen. He'll get Pedro Strop with the Mets leading 4-1. And this pitching change is sponsored by the New York Lottery. Make the most of the numbers in front of you every day. Play Win 4 and numbers from the New York Lottery.
Service in the business. Mets fans, please stop by for the best deals going. Visit them online at kingsautogroup.com. That's kingsautogroup.com. Proud sponsors of the Mets Radio Network.
Mets leading 4-1 with 2 out of the bottom of the 8th. Daniel Murphy at first and Pedro Strop out of the Dominican Republic, who also came to the Cubs in the deal with the Baltimore Orioles for Jake Arrieta, will come on to face Cespedes. Strop originally signed as a position player, and then the Texas Rangers converted him to the mound, and they traded him to the Orioles, and then sent him on to the Cubs. And Strop had a really good year out of the Cubs bullpen. 68 innings, he struck out 81 batters. Was 2-6 though, with a 2.91 earned run average. But sometimes those won-loss records for relievers can be a little bit deceptive, only because sometimes you get into a game where you've got no margin for error, maybe give up a run and wind up losing the game. He's actually had brief experience as a closer, and now facing Cespedes, who's 1 for 3. First pitch on the way. Breaking ball high, 1-0. Again, that ball came in tight on Cespedes, but despite what you hear from the crowd, there's no intent. You throw a breaking ball like that, a curve ball, you're not trying to hit the batter. It just got away from you. Lucas Duda, left-hand batter on deck. Outfield a step towards right against Cespedes. 1-0 from Strop. Fastball fouled back to the screen, 1-1, and he had a vicious cut at a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
We've seen Cespedes muscle the ball towards right a couple times, almost out tonight. And once in that Dodgers series. Again, the way the wind is playing tonight, you're better off going to right field than to left.
Murphy not a big lead at first, being held by Rizzo. 1-1 pitch. Change up, and that's in for a called strike. And the count 1-2. Castro, the shortstop, just sweeping some dirt away. Even though he's wearing that extra headgear, he doesn't appear anywhere near as uncomfortable as Wilmer Flores has at that same position. Here's the 1-2. Cespedes lays off a breaking ball. It's in the dirt, rolls up the first base line, but pounced on by Montero, and Murphy holds it first, so the count 2-2. 45 degrees at game time, 41 the last time we checked. Who knows with a wind chill factor, because it's a stiff wind blowing in, at least in from left and apparently out towards right. Flushing winds.
That was Sinatra, right?
Yeah. That was the flip side of summer winds. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball fouled back to the screen. Right off of the field side microphone.
Apparently.
Just in case somebody thought something was wrong with their radio.
Right. Well,
now there might be something wrong with the mic.
Chicago on the off day tomorrow, Howie, 72, but windy. 72 and 73 Tuesday and Wednesday, dipping down into the upper 50s. Well, that's not that bad.
Yeah. Compared to this, it's summer. 2-2 to Cespedes. Strop delivers. Swinging a drive in the air to right center, but it's playable. Moving over the right fielder, Conklin makes the catch. Side retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 8, the Mets 4, the Cubs 1. At the end of the 9th inning, he gave up a 2-out single to Miguel Montero, and then Murphy bailed him out when he made the great diving stop on the hard hit one-hopper by Tommy La Stella. So here's Bryant, 2 out of 3 tonight, a double and a run batted in. Right-hand batter, first pitch, fastball chopped foul up the third base line, 0-1. Bryant singled in the first, fly to center in the fourth, and then he doubled off the wall, driving in the Cubs' run in the 6th inning. Familia has 3 saves in the postseason. Barry Collins wasn't sure after last night that he'd have him 4 tonight. Familia sets at the letters. The 0-1 to Bryant. Sinker inside, 1-1. Familia got here a little later than he'd anticipated because of traffic today, but finally told Terry that he was available to pitch. Terry said the call was going to be Familia's. Familia sets. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Bryant swings and misses. It's 1-2, a 94-mile-an-hour sinker. Mets had 3 infielders on the left side of the diamond. Now Daniel Murphy is going to move to the right of second base, right at the edge of the outfield grass. Wright guarding the line at third. Familia sets at the letters. The 1-2 to Bryant. Swinging a drive in the air to right, backing up Granderson. He's there, moving to his left now, makes the catch, 1 man out. So Bryant flies to right. And Anthony Rizzo will be the batter.
Fowler and Bryant, Howie, have all 4 of the hits tonight. All the other Cubs are 0 for 21 with 10 strikeouts.
Rizzo has struck out twice. Once in the 1st, then he popped to 3rd in the 4th, and struck out in the 6th against Jonathan Neese. You could probably make the argument, Josh, that was as big an out as Jonathan Neese has ever recorded in his career.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's Rizzo. Was the only batter Neese faced. First pitch to the left-hand hitter. Fastball low, 1-0. The sinker at 95.
Yeah, and that steady march towards all this, Neese really wasn't a part of it in the rotation. He had lost his grip in terms of being in the rotation.
And Bryant at second with a run in and 2 out, and Neese got him swinging. 1-0 to the left-hand hitter. The outfield deep. The pitch outside, ball 2. It's 2-0. Starlin Castro, a right-hand batter, is on deck. No easy touches here. Not Rizzo. Castro, remember, he's had over 200 hits in a season. Even Conklin behind him. Familia sets at the letters. Here's the 2-0 to Rizzo. That's in for a called strike. It's 2-1. Fastball at 95. Many of the fans are on their feet. Some of them jumping up and down like pogo sticks, trying to stay warm. Flores continues to do anything within his power at shortstop, and frankly, it's very little to stay comfortable. Even David Wright now blows on his hand at third. It's that kind of night. 1 out, nobody on. We're in the 9th, 4-1 Mets. Familia sets the 2-1 to Rizzo. Swung on and missed, strike 2. That was the split at 93, and here come the towels again. Familia wastes no time. Comes set. Holds the set. Now the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a chopper to first. Waiting on it, Duda. He's got it. He runs to the bag. It's close. Safe at first. Duda waited a little too long on that high chopper, and Rizzo beat it out. Familia wasn't able to get over in time, and so the Cubs with a big infield single, and that'll bring up Starlin Castro.
Give Rizzo credit for busting it down the line. And Duda essentially hesitated, seeing if Familia could get there in time, and that moment's hesitation cost him. If he just would have caught it and immediately sprinted to the bag, he's going to get him.
I don't think Duda ever touched first base. He came up short.
Yeah.
And then overstepped it with his back foot. So now it's Castro, who is grounded to third, grounded to first, and lined to third. 5th hit for the Cubs. Mets have 5. First pitch. Fastball over for a called strike. 0-1.
Howie, to your point earlier about Flores and how uncomfortable he looks, remember, most of his errors this year were in chilly weather in April. And he's got to be ready now. I mean, this ball could go to him. This could be it.
0-1 to Castro. Outfield deep and around towards right. Familia sets. Now the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 2. Got him with that sinker. The count 0-2. Of course, Flores is replacing a guy at shortstop who may be even less comfortable in cold weather than Wilmer is, and that's Ruben Tejada. He makes no bones about how uncomfortable he is playing in this kind of cold. But you've got to do it, especially this time of year. 0-2 to Castro. Familia sets. Now the pitch. Swing and a ground ball slowly hit to short. Flores has it, throws to first in time, 2 men away. Flores, for a moment, appeared as though he wouldn't get to that ball in time, but then he closed quickly enough. Down to second goes Rizzo, but there are 2 men away, and Chris Coughlin is due up, but I believe they're going to go to a right-handed hitter here. Nope, it's Coughlin.
And Coughlin, remember, came close to hitting one out earlier tonight. Sure enough, a ball right to Flores, and he had to charge in to get it. He's blowing on his bare hand right now. The runner at second blowing on both bare hands. That's Rizzo. Gotta believe the wind chill of Howie is in the upper teens right now, seriously. And Familia needs one more out. Everybody gets to go home nice and toasty.
Mets 4, Cubs 1. 2 out, top of the ninth. Rizzo at second, the outfield straight away. Coughlin has power. Granderson took a home run away from him in the second inning. Left-hand batter, right off the line at third. Familia delivers. Fastball over, a called strike on the inside corner. 0-1, a 96-mile-an-hour sinker from Jerry's Familia. Flores continues to blow on his hand at shortstop. Lagar is doing the same in center. Familia staring in and out, time called at home plate. Darno wants to go out and talk to Familia. And the guy on deck is a dangerous hitter, a left-hand hitter with power, Miguel Montero. So really it's the same sort of challenge for Familia here, left-handed hitters who could drive the ball. Coughlin and then Montero. For a minute it looked like Coughlin was going back to the Cubs dugout, which was curious. Didn't change bats or anything, but now back and ready to go. 0-1 the count. Wright blowing on his hand at third. Rizzo leads from second with 2 out. 0-1 pitch. Little bit low with a sinker. It's 1-1. Mets with a 4-1 lead. They won last night 4-2. Another tremendous start. This one by Noah Syndergaard. Neese, Reed, Clippard, and now Familia have followed. 2 men away. 1-1 the count. Familia sets. Now the pitch. Fastball fouled into the mid of Darno. It's 1-2. That was the split-fingered fastball, the added weapon of Familia that he first introduced late in the summer. So now, haven't gotten the attendance figure, but you know it's over 44,000 on their feet, waving the orange towels. Rizzo leads from second. Familia gets the sign from Darno. Sets at the letters. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Coughlin. Fastball a little bit low. It's 2-2. He missed with a 96-mile-an-hour sinker. The fans are enthusiastic. They're nervous. They've been loud. It's muted somewhat by the nerves, to be sure. 2-2 to Coughlin. Familia sets. Here's the pitch. Swing and a chopper, slowly hit right side. Charged by Duda. He gloves it. Flips to Familia. Out at first. Put it in the books. The New York Mets have taken a 2-0 lead in the National League Championship Series as they have defeated the Chicago Cubs 4-1 here in Game 2. Noah Syndergaard wins it. It took 4 relievers to finish it off, but the Mets will go to Chicago up 2-0. In the ninth inning for the Cubs as the fireworks display begins from the top of the center field scoreboard. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. The final score, the New York Mets 4 and the Chicago Cubs 1. Back to talk about it in a moment on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer.